It's Issues Today, a look at the challenges that face us all. Here's Bob Gorley.
You know, in the press, we hear so much about real estate as this being a very down time, but for those who want to cash in and take advantage, it's an excellent time. We're going to talk about that today with Dani Babb, who is one of the authors of Finding Foreclosures, Cashing In on the Hidden Market. And Danielle, a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
This is one of those things that you can actually make money in all kinds of markets if you know how to do it, right?
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can make money in the pre-foreclosure market. That's distressed homeowners who have not yet gone into foreclosure. You can make money at the real estate owned market, which is when the bank actually takes the home back and owns it and puts it on the secondary market. And then you can also make money in the auction market, although you do have to have cash to get into that scenario.
Right. Now let's take the first one. You said the foreclosure. How do you find out where those are? I guess that's the biggest question.
Yeah, there's only a couple of sites out there that support that kind of technology. The one that I use is realtytrack.com, and it's realtytrac.com. Basically what that system does is it monitors title records for notice of default. And as soon as the lender puts a notice of default on the individual's title, it's reported in this system. The system also gives you the person's contact information so you know how to get a hold of them, and it also tells you what their loan balances are so that you can make them a reasonable offer if you wish to do that.
Now, so that you have to take the bull by the horns there and contact them yourself. And now some people don't feel comfortable doing that. Is there a technique to that, or?
Yeah, there are, and there are actually guides on the website as well as how to do that. It can be something that's a little intimidating, but what we generally do is we first send them a letter because if you wait until the person's already in foreclosure, they're getting hundreds of letters a day from people trying to buy the property. But in the pre-foreclosure status, they're not getting many letters because not many people know about it. So basically, we send them a letter, a postcard, and tell them, hey, we're looking at buying your home for XYZ reasons, and if you're interested in talking with us, you can give us a call. And then generally the homeowner is still a little in denial. They still don't think that they necessarily need someone to help bail them out. But after a couple of months and several letters, your name starts to stick with them. And the key is to really make it a win-win. If you come in there as an investor, they're not going to want to obviously lose their home to someone who's just trying to make money off of them. But if you come in there and say, hey, I'm willing to let you live in your home for 6 months rent-free, I'm willing to help you get back on your feet with cash, and you try and make it a win-win, they're much more likely to talk with you.
Wow, that sounds like a great idea. And you actually get into that, I guess, with no cash down then, can't you?
You can actually just take over. You can assume the existing loan, and you can even assume the loan minus money. So if the person owes $200,000, sometimes the banks will let you assume it for 20, 30, 40% less than what the individual owes.
Really, and that's the key. The bank really doesn't want to go into foreclosure if they don't have to, so it's a win-win for them as well, I guess.
It is. The pre-foreclosure stage is the win for the bank, the win for the homeowner, because it keeps a really bad thing, a foreclosure, off of their credit record. And it also is the best deal for the homeowner. All of our studies show, and RealtyTrack studies show, that actually buying the home in the pre-foreclosure stage is when you can get the best deal, unless you have cash and you can do an auction, which most of us don't have a few $100,000 laying around.
Yeah, that's right. Now, someone would say, well, is this the best time to get into it? Should I wait till the market bottoms out? And a lot of people don't know when that's going to be, I think.
Yeah, predicting a bottom is always tough. I don't think any of us who really like to predict bottoms, but I do know that the new home inventory tends to be about 6 months behind ahead of resale home inventory. So given that there's 8 months of new home inventory and 10 months of resale inventory, that would indicate to me that in the next 6 months we will see resale inventory drop, and that in turn would mean that therefore prices should stabilize and start coming. So for me personally, this is the time I'm actually starting to look, and the time that I'm going to start making offers and have helped other people make offers as well. The key is to look at the areas that have already had a severe price drop, and that's the Midwest and the West Coast.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Now, what are you going to do with those properties? Are you going to rent them out? You're going to keep them? Are you going to flip them?
Well,
does it depend?
I'm sorry.
No. Or does it just depend on the situation of the city, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it depends on the situation. I have a lot of people I work with that are actually looking to trade up and move into these homes and live there. That's definitely an excellent option if you want to move up to another neighborhood or change up to a bigger house or a smaller house if you're retiring. But for me personally, what I'm doing is buying and holding. and I'm going to rent these things out for a decade, and this is part of my retirement portfolio.
Yeah, and that 10-year there is about right, because that takes that long to get the equity back, doesn't it, in a lot of cases?
Yeah, it does, but if you also have cash flow on the property and you're not upside down every month, in fact, sometimes you can even earn income every month, you're getting cash flow at the same time that you're getting appreciation.
That's right. And actually right now is a good rental time, because the people that are not being able to keep their houses are renting, aren't they? So it's a good time for that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually a really hot rental market right now, especially in the Sunbelt states, Nevada, Arizona, California, and Florida. And a lot of people are actually, who have lost their homes, are moving into rentals, and so the demand and the supply are both there, and it's a fairly stable rental market right now.
Now, you talked about the amount of homes, and this is on the market. This is a supply and demand situation, and it's a normal cycle. We had such an upturn for so long in all parts of the country that this was an inevitable thing, because you have overbuilding that goes on, all of these things. So it's too bad the press always panics when this kind of thing happens, but it's a normal cycle. It
is a normal cycle. About every 10 years we see something like this happen. I think what's different this time, and what's getting all the media scrutiny, is the subprime lending. We had, in the last few years, we've had 25% of loans go to subprime borrowers, and most of those were pay option arms. And that's basically a disguised name for a negative amortization loan, where the principal, of course, is added to every month when you don't pay the full interest amount. And so a lot of those people who owe $200,000 now owe $250,000, but their house has dropped, is only worth $180,000. They can't make the fully amortized payment because they never would have qualified for it to begin with. And so that's how it's different than it was in the previous times that we've seen this sort of thing happen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, those people are a little higher risk than most people too. So they might even be less able to pay that, because they were a higher risk to start with, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're higher risk to start with, and also many of them did not have to document their income. They used stated income loans, and traditionally those loans were kept for individuals who had fluctuating income, like sales professionals, and who had mostly were commission-based. But during the buying frenzy, lenders used it as a way for individuals who maybe were working in the food service industry and had a lot of their income via tips, which of course drops off when consumer spending drops off. And so a lot of people who were the loans were not designed for them started using those loans, and now obviously we're in the crisis that we're in today.
Yeah, what is interesting too about this particular market, I think, is that the economy really is in pretty good shape. It's strong. It's just that this segment, the housing segment, is is going through a cycle. So it's a little different than we had, even I think, in some of these other down markets.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All the other indicators that we see, we've got strong job growth, people are employed, we have a low unemployment rate, we still have solid consumer spending. So I don't really see an overall economic crisis, but certainly in some areas of the housing market, we're seeing some serious difficulties.
So you're thinking 6 months, so maybe springtime.
Yeah, I really think we'll start to see inventories drop and prices level out and just slightly start to appreciate again around spring of next year. Now, many analysts I've been talking with believe that we're going to have 3 more Fed rate cuts before that happens, the first of which could happen, of course, in as early as December, and then 2 more in the spring, and that will finally jumpstart the credit market again.
Dani Babb, good to talk to you. The name of the book is Cashing In on the Real Estate Market, Finding Foreclosures, and the website is Finding Foreclosures Experts. Well, actually, it's no S. FindingForeclosureExperts.com.